Hello everyone, we're starting a little bit late. We was having some tech issues as usual. But we're gonna start with tips for planning your $15,000 wedding or less. And today on Monday, we're gonna start with the venues. And so let me give you a little bit background of why I decided to do this. I decided to do this because I had been getting a lot of consultations of people who, when I talked with them, I always ask, so what is your wedding budget? And here lately it's been between $10,000 and $20,000, but today we're going to stop at 15. And so people have been having a lot of problems trying to plan weddings in that budget range. And one of the main reasons why is because the venues are extremely expensive. So by the time you look up some of these venues in the area, the more popular ones that everybody wants to be at and that's advertised and that you see different places, then you're out of budget. So by the time you pay for your venue and your catering, that's your $15,000. And so we're going to get a little bit more light over here. I think there's too much light. And so you're out of budget. So I decided to do this because, for one, it shouldn't be that difficult to plan your wedding. And a lot of people have been having a whole lot of heartache and upsetness and sadness because they haven't been able to find, all the things in their budget. Like, oh my God, I thought $15,000 was a lot of money, which, if somebody gave me $15,000 or $10,000, I'll be excited about it. But as far as weddings, it's really not a lot of money, especially if your venue costs between $5,000 to $10,000 by itself, and then you still have to pay for catering, which by the time you pay for catering, you're way over budget. So we want to first thing we're going to do before we talk about venues is you have to evaluate your guest list, because you really need to, if you're going to have a wedding in that budget of $10,000 to $15,000, you really need to get the wedding guest list under 100 guests. 50 to 100 guests is what you need. Somewhere around 80 would be perfect. So you really need to get it under 100. I know I had a couple people who contacted me and was like, oh, we're having 250 guests. We have $15,000. That's not going to work, because all of your money is going to get ate up in catering, all of it. And so even with some of the more inexpensive caterers, you're going to eat up all your money in catering. So your budget's already blown before you even got started. And then the bigger venues are more expensive, which the bigger venues are more inclusive. So you're going to spend even more money. So we're going to start from the lowest cost venues to the more expensive, but still in your $15,000 budget. And so first we're going to talk about parks and recreation. So the Parks and Recreation Department in all the 7 cities has venues, whether it be beach locations, regular venues, historical homes possibly, and some civic buildings that they rent out. However, you have to go on that government website, which is crazy because, you can't find nothing on the government website. So when you go into the Parks and Recreation, you click on, rentals and reservations, and then you can find those things. So you have to look up Parks and Recreation and rentals and reservations. A lot of the venues, especially the parks, like the regular parks, you can have weddings in some of the parks. You can have weddings also on the beach, but you have to get a beach permit. And some of those park shelters, if you're having a very low-key wedding, you can have it in some of those really nice park shelters. Some you have to go through a lot of changes to get a tent put up in some of those city parks and areas, but it can be done. You just have to do your due diligence. Make sure you work with your rental company. Just know that if you get a tent that's bigger than what holds 100 guests, it's going to eat up some more of your costs. So a tent for 100 guests or less is going to cost you probably around $2,000 extra on top of that rental of that place in the parks department. So just keep that in mind, because you have to rent the tent and you have to rent lighting because it's dark. And then you have to rent tables and chairs. And so all of that has to be rented if you do that outdoor thing, because, you know, it may or may not rain. And, you know, here it could be raining like at 2 and dry at 5. So, you know, you just don't know what's happening around here in Virginia. It could be winter today and summer tomorrow. Like today, it's warm. Tomorrow, we'll probably have our coats back on. So, so you have to take the give and the take with that. So you definitely have to have a tent if you're going to be outside because of this crazy weather we find ourselves in here in Virginia. However, with the Parks Department, a lot of those places, some of them are only $100 a day. And then some of the venues only are like $300 to $500 per day. So that's the whole day. However, some of those, when they have open availability times. So you have to go on their website and find out when it's time to sign up, and make sure you have whatever that money is ready and you're ready to sign up with your dates, because those Saturdays eat up really, really fast, especially in the spring, summer, and fall. So just, you have to be ready. You have to be there when they open up the registration for some of those venues. Next, we're going to go to clubs and meeting halls. And I'm not talking about like the yacht club or anything like that. That's way over your budget. However, you know, there's like the Rotary Club building, there's the Legion building, there's the Veterans Clubs. Some of the cultural clubs in the area have buildings, and nice buildings. And a lot of those buildings comes with tables and chairs. And sometimes, if you're very nice, which you should always be nice and smile and be like, hi, and speak to everyone very nicely. Don't get all irate, and talk to them nicely. And they may set up the tables and chairs for you, especially if you're doing all of your decor and set up yourself, either the day before or that morning, or you have like a team of people. So you want to make sure you go in there and be pleasant, and, you know, you get more bees with honey, they say. Absolutely. So you want to do that. And a lot of those places can run you around $1,000, especially if you know a member. So it's always nice to have a member of that particular club to vouch for you. And it could be cheaper than that. It all depends on which one you're looking at. The only problem with some of these American Legions, Veterans Clubs, cultural clubs, they have, like, you know, their paraphernalia on the walls, and you may want to drape those. So that's some more cost that you may have to endure. However, it's usually a big space, so it's, you know, it's nice. Just usually like an open space with tables and chairs. So you can do a lot of things in there. So you just have to be a little bit more creative. And, you know, you may have to enlist somebody to drape a few things so you can cover up some things that you may not like. And then we are going to go to venues. There's some venues. There's a lot of venues in strip malls. Okay. Some of them are extremely nice. There's one in Newport News that's in a strip mall. Oh my God, it is gorgeous. And then there's several others around town in all the cities: Virginia Beach, Newport News, Norfolk, Williamsburg, Portsmouth. There's venues everywhere. Some of them are labeled social clubs. Some of them are they just call themselves a venue, party houses, party places you can rent out. Some of those are around $800 a day for the day, or sometimes 6 to 8 hours, and you can buy extra hours to go on top. So your venue would be less than $1,000. Some may be a little bit more. Some of them are even inclusive, where they have some really, really good pricing on catering. They have like a DJ that will come with it. They have photo booths that will come with it. You can buy a really inexpensive decor package that they decorate the whole room for like $750, and it's nice. So you may want to explore some of their full packages, because it may be more than you can actually get on your own. And if you get somebody else to do it, you don't have to do it, which is great. And you stay under budget when you condense all that together, because there's this one particular party place that is it's like Suffolk, Portsmouth area, And by the time you lump all of their things together, and that venue holds around 70 guests inside. They have shibari chairs, little crystal chandeliers, a beautiful bar, and everything. You can get your space, your catering, your full bar, a photo booth, yes, indeed, decor, and a DJ, all for like $8,000. All in. $8,000. $8,000. The thing of it is, the outside of it is not fancy, but the inside is nice. So you may have to give and take. It's not ugly. It's just, a strip mall. So, you have to do some little compromising with this. Are you caring about what the whole outside looks like or just the inside? Because really you're going to be inside. So just long as the inside looks fantastic, you're not going to have to worry about that because you're just walking in. So, but there's some that have some better aesthetics on the outside, and you're going to pay more. The one of them, is like $3,000. It's going to be a little bit more money. So, you're going to pay for that extra thing. So you just have to evaluate how much you want to spend on your venue, and then you have to calculate out everything else. Okay, and then your church venues, there's 2 church venues that will allow you to have dancing and a bar, and they empty out that whole area for you, and it's your venue. There's one in Virginia Beach, and there's one in Suffolk. Yes, Suffolk, Newport News area, kind of like. So, and there's 2, and they have really great prices. They have really great staff, and they do help you set up some things, but some things you have to have a team to come and set up your tables and do breakdown and things of that sort. So you definitely want to read over the details, see what they'll do for you, see what you can pay them to do as far as like setup, and then, explore that. But both of those places, both of those church venues, you can bring in licensed and unlicensed vendors. So if, say perhaps you want Caribbean food and your aunt or whatever cooks for the family and she knows how to cater big or whatever, and you want to save money on catering and that sort of thing, they can do that at these 2 places, which will save you money. And you can bring in your own bar, as long as you have a licensed bartender. And of course, you have to get the ABC permit from Virginia, which is only $40. And you have to get event insurance at all of these places, which will run you about $200, which you can get that online. Event insurance you can get immediately when you sign up online. And the ABC thing, they say it takes up to 6 weeks. I've never had it take more than 3 weeks. The fastest I've gotten it is 1 week, and it's only $40. And you go on the ABC website and look under events, and you can go on there and rent, and it's a banquet license, and it's $40. So you'll be legal with Virginia, because they'll ask you that, and you have to have that in order to serve alcohol at your wedding. So make sure you do those and get the insurance. Next are the community, anything that's when you Google community building, community event facilities. There is a beautiful one in Smithfield. There's several around Newport News. There's several in Chesapeake. There's a few in Virginia Beach. I don't know of one in Norfolk where I live. But they are all over the 757. They are very nice venues, very, very nice venues. All of the ones I've been into have really nice kitchen facilities. They have really nice setup. Most of them been renovated, so they look brand new. And you can bring in, they usually have a vendor list. You can bring in outside people that they will verify. However, the people on their particular vendor list are very affordable. So you can call them up and they will fit into your budget and they will work with your budget, because that particular venue, is very cost effective. And it's most of the ones like that they have some really great atmospheres. So you want to check those out. So those are great venues. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about hotels. So the hotels that are on the beach are out of the question. Okay, because once you do their food and beverage minimum, you don't really have any more money left to do anything else. You may be able to do a few things. You may be able to very lightly do one at maybe 2 or 3 of them on the Virginia Beach Strip. You have to be very careful, very, very strategic. You got to really stay under your 100-person limit, you know, hopefully around 80. And you can do it on the Virginia Beach Strip in about 2, maybe 3 hotels on that beach street. However, a lot of the hotels that are not on that water, that are in town or in not bordering water, except, you know, there's 1 or 2 more that you can use, but that are not bordering water, they have very, very good pricing, and they have food and beverage minimums that are like $4,000. One hotel has a room for $4,000 that, you know, you can get about 70 people in, and with a dance floor. And then there's another hotel that has a food and beverage minimum that's $65,000, and that one has a beach water view, which is nice. And that's their food and beverage minimum. And what I mean by food and beverage minimum is you don't have to pay a room fee on top of the catering. So that $6,500 is the space and the food and alcohol. So all of your money goes to food, catering, and alcohol. Okay, so you don't have to pay $4,000 for a venue, and then another $7,000 for catering, and then another $3,000 for a bar. Okay, so all of it will fit into that food and beverage minimum. However, you can't go over that food and beverage minimum, but you know, you can work it where you stay right in there within that, because remember, you have to pay the room, the food and beverage minimum. Then they're going to automatically add an 18% tip thing on your bill, and then there's some other fees they're going to add up on there. So it's going to be roughly around, for that $6,500 room, $8,000. Okay, when it's all said and done, around $9,000. You still have about $6,000 for your cake, your photographer, and some cake, your photographer, your dress, his suits, and some other things that you may want to have for your wedding. So these places are, you know, you can do it. And the reason why I do like the hotels is because they will set up for you. Tables and chairs are included. They usually include a white tablecloth. So you don't have to pay for tablecloths if you can deal with the white, which is fine. Most of the places have new chairs or renovated chairs or nicer chairs now. A lot of them changed out the carpet, so the carpet looks nice. A lot of them have remodeled and painted, and it's brighter and prettier and lighter and more wonderful than you remember, because they've done a lot of changes. A lot of people did a lot of renovations over the pandemic and this past year. So you may need to revisit some of these places. You may have been like, because they're getting great. And also, you just have to be strategic on what you choose. And I really hate to say that a lot of the advertised venues that are more popular, that you first started out, when you started out planning, that you Google Virginia wedding venues, and all of those really are out of your budget. Unfortunately, because once you pay a space $8,000-$9,000 just for the space, and then you use their caterer on their preferred vendor list, you're already, $20,000-$30,000 budget. Because most of those caterers on there are going to cost you between $11,000 to $15,000 by themselves. And it's not because they're price gouging or anything else. It's just, especially if it's a room flip involved or anything else. And people try to let you know that, say, buffets or, food stations are cheaper, but no, it's not. A plated meal is actually cheaper. So, you really have to get in a new mindset on what you want for your wedding. People, when they come to your house and when you host a party somewhere else, you serve them what you serve them. They don't have any choices. So if you serve everybody the same, baked chicken, macaroni and cheese, green beans, a side salad, and bread, it's okay. Or you do a pasta dish for everyone, it's fine. They got a free meal. And if they can't eat it, okay. You can have, a few vegetarian options, but only people you really have to run circles around is if it's for your grandma, your mother, your father, someone that's very, very, very close to you. And you don't have to do all these changes for just everybody. They can eat what you give them. And if they don't want to eat, then they don't want to eat. It's okay. They came, they enjoyed, they're there to celebrate with you, and have a good time. So there's some things that you just consider when using these venues. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news and be like, oh, those venues are too hot, but they are. And you really can't make them work. I know I had some people who had booked their venue before they had called me, and they had, $15,000, $20,000 budget, and you booked a venue that was $10,000. And then all of your caterers are like, mid to high end caterers. So they, already I could just tell them that they're with that $10,000 space, and then your caterer is going to cost you at least $15,000, if not $20,000. And then you haven't even gotten your photographer. You haven't got a cake. You haven't got anything else. No DJ. You got to have some good music, and you really need to hire a good DJ, because they're the ones that keeps your reception going, because if they can't read the room, it's going to go flat. So you just have to take all these things into consideration, and your venue is your most important thing that's going to throw off your budget if you don't book the right venue. So you really need to take the time out at the very beginning. Your very first thing is to evaluate your guest list. Evaluate your guest list and get it down to under 100 people. I know some of you got huge families, and you're like, how am I going to get it down to 100 people? Well, you got to figure it out, or somebody is going to have to give you some more money, because it's not going to happen. They got to eat. And, catering is high. And even if you do the Parks Department place, and you have an outdoor wedding, and, you get it real inexpensive, and you can hire someone, those places, you need a food truck, and that food truck has to be licensed in the city that you're having your event. So make sure you check that, because you can't all of these trucks can't run around in all 7 of these cities. So you just got to make sure you hire the right people when you get your venue. But your venue is the most important part that's going to keep you in budget when you first started planning. Because if you book the wrong venue, then you're thrown off for the whole thing, and you could just be out of pocket. So you don't want to lose any deposits. And that's my thing. Don't lose any deposits. No money is there to be wasted. We got to use every cent for something. And don't even think about wedding favors, because believe me, I picked so many up off the floor and off the table. Nobody wants it. They don't. I mean, it's cute, but they don't want any koozies. They don't want the candy. They don't want any of it. They don't want your candle. They don't want any of it. It's there. Some people will take it, but if your name and your date is on it, they'll have it for a little while, and then it's going to be garbage. Or they're going to leave it on the table, and then I'll be collecting it up. And I can't use it for another event, so usually I just box what I find up and give it right back to the couple. And sometimes they use it for anniversary parties, which is great. You can save it for 5th year anniversary, 10-year anniversary, 20-year anniversary, however long you want to save them for. But you can save money and use that favor money for something else, like your DJ. Or if you have a little bit money left, a photo booth, because everybody loves a photo booth. So, you can save that money. So I have links on my Facebook page where these venues that I've talked about, I have a list of all of them. And if you want the list today, it's $39.99, $30.99, and you get the whole list of all of these venues that I talked about today. And these are not really, a lot of these venues don't have, they may have websites, but they're really hard to find. They may have Facebook pages, but they're really hard to find, or they don't really have anything on their pages. So it's just a listing to make it easy for you to find them and contact them. So you can go look at these places yourself and make a very evaluated choice. And but if you want all of the recommendations that I'll have for all week, that'll be $99, and you get all of the recommendations from all the sessions, all 4 sessions that we have this week. And the link is on my Facebook page, One Elegant Event, and you can check that out. And you'll have a list, and then you can just go through the list. You don't have to search for everything and find them, and start trying to find your perfect venue, because if you don't find your perfect venue, more than likely, you're going to be thrown out of your budget. So there's some great places out there, hidden gems, and they're really not hidden because you probably drive by them and you just did not know they were there. But now that you need it, it's there for you, and they're great. And most of these people are really, really nice people. They want to work with you. They want to help you. They're there to make your lives easier. So just give them a call, check them out, do the tour, and it'll be great, okay? So I'll see you tomorrow. And tomorrow we are talking about wedding attire, wedding dresses, suits, and your bridesmaids and your groomsmen, and all the things. Tomorrow we're talking about how to get your attire that you want at a reasonable price. All right. Thank you guys for joining me. Love you guys. See you tomorrow. Bye. Share with your friends. Like and share. Like and share. Mwah.